What is up, guys? I'm King Cas, and I made this channel so I could talk about everything new and exciting coming to My Hero Ultra Rumble, and maybe even some other My Hero games, but we've been waiting a long time for a new mode to get added to this game, and after 11 long seasons, it's finally here. They recently dropped a new trailer that gave us a ton of info, and we're breaking it all down, so let's jump into it. So the first big change coming is to the team size. We're going from squads of 3 to teams of 6, with each player getting to choose 2 playable characters to swap between. We form teams the way we always have, by either solo queuing with 2 randoms or forming a trio with 2 friends, and it seems from there your team will be paired with a second team of 3, and that will be your team of 6. Next, you choose your second character after either loading into the lobby or before you load into the match once your full team has been formed, because if you look closely, it says character 1 selected at the bottom of the matchmaking screen, so you can't choose characters that are already being used by your teammates, so waiting until the full team is formed before choosing your secondary makes sense. Sadly, it also looks like you won't have the option to form full teams of 6, but we won't know for sure until it's released, but I will say that is kind of disappointing if that's ultimately how things are set up, and hopefully they have a plan to change that in the future. They're also cutting the number of players in half, so instead of a lobby of 24 players, these matches will consist of 12 players split into 2 teams. So it'll be a head-to-head matchup to see which team comes out on top. The biggest change coming is the introduction of a new map. This will be the 3rd new map added since launch, but it's the first map created solely for a new mode, so it won't be in the current rotation of maps for trios and solos, but it's definitely unique, and thanks to LFJ we can actually take a look around it before it drops, so big shout out to him. This map seems to offer something for every character and every playstyle. We see a lot of vantage points, corridors, platforms, and areas of different sizes. At first glance, it can look restrictive for Mount Lady players, but if you really look, you'll see there are a few places for her to stretch out and go crazy. But this new map is clearly smaller than the other 3, and that's intentional. A lot of players are suffering with monomas camping in the sky spamming gammas from either Tamaki or Assault Endeavor, but here the ceilings are a lot lower, and it should be easier for characters to counter those kind of attacks. My only hope is that we have the option to use this new mode in custom lobbies. Area control battles have completely different winning conditions, so instead of fighting to be the last team at the end, the goal will be to control as many areas as possible before time runs out, with a total of 3 areas to try and capture. Match times will be different as well, going from lasting about 15 minutes to down to 5-minute long matches, but they can end faster or last longer depending on different factors. If one team is able to capture all 3 areas and defend them for a full minute, the match will end and that team will be the victor. But if both teams are tied for points when the timer runs out, or one team has fewer points but has control of 2 areas when the timer runs out, the match will go into overtime. If overtime is triggered by a tie, both teams will have 1 minute to try and break the tie. But if you go into overtime because the losing team managed to capture 2 areas before time ran out, there won't be a time limit for overtime, and you win by either taking back the areas captured by the team with fewer points, or if that team manages to get the lead in points. I would assume it's possible to go into double overtime if you're still tied after the first one, but matches can definitely last longer than the standard 5 minutes, or end a lot quicker depending on how good your team is, which is cool because it gives the match a bit of variety, and if you're on a bad team, you fortunately won't be stuck in that match for long. They're also adding respawns when you die. We see in the trailer that when a player is killed, they skip the down state and they are simply KO'd. This is where you get a chance to swap to your backup character if you feel like your main isn't getting it done. And then you're back in the match. So no dying and being on standby hoping for a res. In this mode, you'll constantly be in action no matter how many times you die. And on the flip side, you can rack up a ton of KOs, so we should see some crazy KO and damage numbers from the really good players. Now I know you're wondering, well, how will quirk levels and loot work in a new mode? We can see that everyone starts with their quirks at level 4, and from there we see 2 ways of leveling up your quirks, with the first being to take control of a capture point, which levels up all 3 of your quirks for your full team. The second way being to simply get a KO and take the level up cards that they drop. So pretty straightforward, but starting at level 4 is a great starting point because most of the roster gets a little better at level 4 compared to level 1, like All Might getting his splash damage and Bakugo getting his second gamma at level 4. And I like that they kept leveling up simplistic but also team oriented. From what we can see in the trailer, the only loot that looks to be available are team full heals you see lying around, but data mine info suggests that there could also be loot boxes added as well as Coda being able to spawn in this mode. So take that with a grain of salt, but we know at the very least you will be able to pop team fulls to keep your teammates in the fight. But in case you were wondering, you do get to keep your levels when you respawn after being KO'd, so don't worry about it, the devs definitely got you covered. This new mode is officially dropping on September 3rd, so maintenance will be tomorrow night, and it's not the only thing that's coming. We have a second skill set dropping that same day, and we also have a new event dropping that's designed around the new battle mode. And it comes with new emotes, voice lines, and recolors you can earn, so there's a lot to be excited for. But guys, that's everything we currently know about the new area control battle mode coming in just 2 days, and now I want to hear your thoughts down below. Are you excited for this new mode, and which 2 characters will be your mains? Let me know down below, and next I'll be going over which characters will be the best in this new mode, and how to use characters you might initially dismiss for it, so make sure you lock in. The second half of Season 12 looks to have a lot of stuff to keep us entertained until it's time for the new trailer to drop for the next season, so make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because we're just getting started. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.